Hello, everyone. It's another edition of DigiVation StartUp Space. And today's edition is quite exciting because we are taking a look at a different space entirely. That's the EdTech and e-learning. And for me, on this edition is just an opportunity for us to have just a look through the peephole of what is actually going on in the EdTech space in Nigeria and in Africa at large. So this week we have Isaac Oladipupo. He's one of the co-founders of Afrilearn, and let's welcome him to the program. Hello, Isaac. Welcome to the program.
Guys. Hello, guys. Thank you so much for having me, Mojusala. Amazing work you're doing here, and it's great to be here.
Thank you very much, Isaac. Afrilearn is an EdTech company working to provide world-class education for Africans. And they have come a long way, and they've been part of different hubs, presentation for innovation, funding, and all that. And we all know one of the challenges of founders is funding for their startups. And the second challenge is sustaining it. So on this edition, we are going to take a look at Afrilearn, and Isaac is going to share his story. Isaac, of all spaces in the socio-economic and the tech space, why e-learning and EdTech?
Great, thank you very much for that interesting question. Very, very important question, actually, if I may say so. Yes, so e-learning and e-learning purposefully because as human beings, really, whatever goes into our minds come out in our lives.
Yeah,
that is how we are wired. That's how we are created. So you can't find a human being that would outperform their level of knowledge.
Sure.
And when it comes to life, generally, nothing empowers like knowledge. It is investment in knowledge that results extraordinary personality. So, and that's why Nelson Mandela said, education is the greatest weapon, with which you can change the world. Yeah. So, having said that, personally for me, and also for my co-founder, Gabriel Olasunji Legend, we actually went through, whilst growing up, we went through some experiences that weren't so pleasant, not to us, but to our friends.
Okay.
And what do I mean? We both grew up in developing communities, in the, well, I won't call it rural area, but not also urban, you understand? So just in between, yeah. So, and whilst growing up, we grew up with, of course, when you grow up in a particular neighborhood, you have your childhood friends and all of that, and of course, wonderful people that we grew up together. But something happened along the line, over 70% of who we grew up with, when I look back today, when you compare how we are doing in life, generally, there's an unfair advantage that you realize that those who were able to get quality education, and those who weren't able to get quality education, the disparity is astronomical. The disparity is unfair, and of course, which got us thinking, and then to realize that there is a need to actually democratize quality education. What I mean is there is a need to make quality education accessible to everybody, irrespective of their background, their color, or their circumstance. Every single child deserves access to quality education. And that's why we started Afrilearn. Of course, but before then, I used to work, I used to lead the media team at a global organization called Daystar. It's a global non-profit organization. So while I was there, I had this online platform. I also created Top Nigeria. If you know Top Nigeria, it's also a very popular platform. It's a news platform. So one of those periods, I just started. We just put some educational content. Top Nigeria is about news and entertainment, but we put some additional educational content on the platform, and we saw a huge spike. So I was surprised, because normally you would think that the only thing that people will be interested in on that kind of platform is entertainment related content. But we put some education content, and then we saw spike. We had some more, and we still saw an increase in spike. So I was like, wow, it means that people are actually looking for education resources in Nigeria, So I made that mental note. Eventually, I registered a different domain. The domain it was pastquestions.com then, and I started uploading past questions, and I still saw that huge growth, So that was when I realized that, okay. And at that time, of course, I had an instruction to leave, to move on, to resign. I had spent years at that place, it was a very fulfilling workplace, amazing leadership and all of that. But it was time to move on. I didn't know what I was going to be doing next, but apparently God had a bigger plan, So when all of these realizations were coming, and I, of course, at the point I realized that, okay, this is exactly what I want to do. I want to build an education technology company, But this time around, I haven't built many things. I wanted to make it a global organization. I wanted to build something that would outlast me, something that would be transgenerational, something that would really
leave your legacy.
Shape, that will shape Africa's education sector.
Thank you very much for that. What has the journey been like for you, building the startup, sustaining it? What has it been like? What experience has it been like? What have you learned?
Okay, well, in terms of what I have learned, I've learned a lot of things actually. And we keep learning every day.
Of course.
I see it is just as we are building the startup is building us. You understand? Because there's a lot to learn every single day. And of course, one of the greatest lessons I've come to learn is that the number one factor, one of the most important factors that determines your quality as a leader, and determines how far you will go and how much you will succeed, as a leader, especially in the EdTech space, right? Is the ability to constantly find the highest leverage use of time. Meaning that what is the number one task that we should be doing right now, And that's the challenge for me personally, to always know exactly what we should be doing part time. That makes for the highest return on our time. If you understand what I mean? And also when it comes to Afrilearn particularly, one of the really, really key thing, also is to the ability to optimize for the right metrics, meaning that, okay, what are the users looking for? What do the users want? So of course, it's maybe very challenging.
And markets.
Exactly, but understanding what the users want and giving it to the users is also very, very important. So I would say those two things are very key, to building a successful product. And they are part of the biggest challenges that any founder can face while building.
Great, thank you for that. So from your perspective as a player in the space and also an expert, where do you see EdTech and e-learning in the future of Africa's tech evolution?
Well, where I see e-learning, in fact, I won't be sincere to tell you that I know how big it's gonna get. But what I can tell you is that EdTech is the future of learning. Even before COVID-19, we have seen a very swift incremental adoption of learning online, e-learning platforms. You have platforms like Coursera, Udemy that are doing amazing,
Great.
And right now what we are building at Afrilearn is the Netflix of education for African students. So the same or even better experience that you get on Netflix, you get on Afrilearn.
Wow.
But the difference is that what Netflix is to entertainment is what Afrilearn is to education. you know. But on Netflix, you realize that the experience is it's almost addictive. You don't want to leave. Why?
Yeah.
Because of the product experience and also because of the content quality. And that's exactly is what we have achieved with Afrilearn. You know, we see users go there and they're like, wow, you know, and but more importantly, for us at Afrilearn, it is the resultant effects after using Afrilearn, you know, the learning outcomes, you know. So for instance, right now we see that over 75%, you know, of students, of teachers that go there say that it's the most comprehensive learning platform in terms of the content and the curriculum that they've seen in Nigeria, you know. And for us also, one of the things that gladdens us is when a user uses the product and they say, okay, before they were struggling with the subject and now they pass very well. So really, EdTech, I mean, e-learning is the future, but for the startups that will be part of that future, we have to be empathic in the sense of, okay, carry the users along and of course understand the users' pain points, you know, so that that will then inform how we build the product, how we build the platform, because that's the only way that we're able to build a platform that is not just an e-learning platform, but that is an effective e-learning platform. Yeah. So in terms of the future, I think the future is incredibly bright for EdTech, not just in Nigeria, but across Africa. I think it would only get better in terms of the traction. As a matter of fact, based on statistics, it's been said that by 2025, the EdTech markets, the global EdTech markets is projected to reach $404 billion, you know. Yeah, so that's how big the market is. And we're just getting started, really.
Great. Thank you for your insight and contribution, and also for your effort in adding to the EdTech space in Nigeria. But my one last question to you is this. What do you think drives a business generally, passion or profit?
Well, I'll be sincere with you. What drives the business generally is both passion and profit. I think that when people tell you that they are just passionate, well, maybe it's possible. But for us, we are first of all very passionate, but we are also conscious of sustainability, because a business that does not sustain itself, businesses don't run on passion only. So if your business is not sustainable, eventually the passion will win out, right? So passion is fantastic, but much more than passion, there has to be profits, which ensures sustainability. So I'll say both, really.
Okay. Great. Thank you so much for your time. I enjoyed the conversation and the way you've opened up on what Afrilearn is doing, and also the possibilities and opportunities in the EdTech space in Africa. Thank you so much, Mr. Isaac Oladipupo, for being part of the show this week.
This is DigiVation Network.